This is Brother Teacher. I wanted to share something with you, my friends, my martial arts family, my YouTube family, my associates, my audience. And it's something that occurred this past weekend. And I'm very appreciative that I'm here to talk to you today. But I want you to know, um, all of you all that follow me, that this past Saturday on June 12th, I was at my store and I had a stroke. Yes, according to the doctor at the hospital, doctors, I had a stroke. I started my day out as I usually do, without a hitch, somewhere around midday, between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. I had customers come into my facility, and I had a vendor come in, and there was an episode I experienced where I felt faint and a little lethargic out of it. I had never quite felt that way before. Well, anyway, a couple of my customers went next door to one of my fellow store owners and told them that they were concerned about me because I did not seem my usual self. And so those store owners went up the street to my son in law's store and told him the same thing. After they came to see me, they said that I didn't seem my usual self. And before I realized it, my son-in-law had came into my store and he was standing in my office with me. And I did not recall him being in my office. I didn't recall him walking in my store, period. But he was in my store office. And he said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "I'm okay." I said, "I may be a little dehydrated because it's hot today and didn't have enough water to drink." And so he put his arm around my waist and he said, "Well, I'm going to call your daughter." I said, "Don't call her. You don't have to call her. I'll be okay." He said, "No, you're not going to be okay because you don't look right." I don't know what that meant, but according to how he usually sees me, I looked out of character. So I said, "Well, just give me some water." He said, "No, I'm not going to give you any water right now." He said, "I'm going to call your daughter." And he called her before I realized it and said, "You need to come and see about your dad. He looks like he's out of it and like he's about to have a heart attack or something." I don't know what made him have that impression of me. And he said, "You need to get down here right away." So uh, he told her that he was going to call 911. Before I knew it, he called 911 and they arrived. And I recall some gentleman standing in my store asking me what was going on and how was I feeling. And I told him what I told my son-in-law, that I felt a bit faint. And so they motioned me to come out of the office. So I recall stepping out of my store. My daughter had arrived somewhere within that period of time of them arriving. And I stepped out on my own and they told me to sit on the stretcher. And then they laid me out on the stretcher. And I remember my daughter's voice. And I did not know that she had taken my keys to my store out of my pocket along with my cell phone. Until later, I found this out. And I'm so proud of her and my son in law for taking care of my business while I was at the hospital. But I don't recall seeing an ambulance. I don't recall being put in the ambulance. I heard the siren as it pulled away, and I remember being in the emergency room and them asking me questions and testing my acuity, if you will, and alertness. And then after a period of time, they told me that I had a stroke. There was a blood clot in my brain. And they applied some medication, something called TPA, and they said over several hours later that after further testing, they found out that uh, the blood clot had been dissolved by this TPA medication. So they encouraged me to stay overnight, and I told them that I didn't want to. I wanted to go home. And believe it or not, there were police officers there from the hospital. They were very polite to me. Uh, Before they intervened at all, one of the male nurses told me that I could do it the easy way or the hard way. If we have to restrain you, you're not going home because you had a stroke. I was vehemently against this, but the police officer talked to me, a couple of them, and as I said, they were polite, and they said, "Let the hospital take care of you. That's what you're here for." So I stayed the night. They wanted me to stay longer, but I signed myself out the next day, which would have been Sunday. And so they went through a battery of tests. And while I was in the emergency room, uh, they strapped my ankles down to the bed and my wrist. And I thought this was cruel and unusual punishment. But anyway, they released the restraints when I got up to the ICU, intensive care unit. And so I stayed the night, and I'm back home. I went to work yesterday, and I feel better, but they prescribed some medication for me. And I'm not one to take, as many of you know, pharmaceutical drugs. But the drugs that they gave me caused my vision to double. And I'm against that. So, long story short, uh, in advance, before I say this, I want to let you all know that I believe, that I know what is in the best interest of Brother Teacher. And I'm just going to stay on top of my regular regimen of eating healthy and exercise and staying hydrated and so forth. But I'm not going to continue to take drugs recurring. Um, and I believe that I'm going to be all right. But here within the past 24 hours, I want to also say that I'm a grandfather again. My second oldest son is now the proud father of a baby boy, and I, a proud grandfather of a baby boy. And I'm appreciative. I'm really happy. I've had a trying month so far, thus far, a trying week last week, and a trying, very trying weekend. And I'm here to talk about it. And for all of you that know me and are affiliated with me on different levels, friends, family, followers, and so forth, students, I thank you for your concern in advance, and I thank you for your prayers. Those are what I need the most. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I just wanted to share this with you, and I hope to be sending you some more information expeditiously. So look forward to some other videos following this one. Some of value, of course, and some words of maybe encouragement to you as you have been giving to me all of these years. Now, I want to say something to you um, out of the spirit of humility. I received so much love when I came back to my store from the hospital. I had so many business owners, so many customers, and so many different friends come to my store to check on me and ask me if everything was okay. And I'm humbled. I really am. I had one gentleman, and I have to mention his name. Um, he is someone who's known throughout the neighborhood. He doesn't have very much at all. As a matter of fact, he's a troubled individual as far as his life is concerned. Yesterday, he saw me walking across the street. And when I looked back across the street and saw him and we made eye contact, he came across the street with his arms spread wide. He came across and hugged me. He embraced me. He embraced me really firmly, and he brought tears to my eyes because I never realized that he cared that much for me. I have been instrumental in his life, and I just never knew. Uh, and to my knowledge, he doesn't hug very many people. But to have had an impact on his life as I have, I never knew that he felt that close to me and attached to me. And that moment was so, so special to me. And I told him thank you. And this is Terrence Gibson. And I love this man dearly. And again, I thank him for that. So, along with that, my son's wife had a complicated pregnancy and the baby came early. A new life came into the world that same day. And my children came to see me at my store. And I had been talking about family for quite a while now and communicating a lot more as family members should and not being so distant. And the fact that I had the stroke this past Saturday on the 12th uh, caused the family to see things a bit more clear. Uh, because their mother died many years ago and I buried her. And to only have your father living now, I could have not been here. And it should never have to be those circumstances where family gets together. When it's death or near death situations, we need to all stay close. And I'm encouraging you that are watching this video to be mindful of this statement. Tell someone that you haven't told in a while that you love him, because we are not promised tomorrow. And I also spent time yesterday with my youngest son, who turned 8 years old on the day that I was admitted to the hospital. And it's been a while since I had that special time with him. And it's no fault of my own. I'm not beating up on anyone, but I'll say this. And I have no reservation saying this. I'm going to say it anyway. I'm not going to mention her name. But his mother removed him from me, as the expression goes, because she thought that the grass was greener elsewhere. And so I would imagine that she did the humane thing by bringing my son to me, by virtue of what occurred last weekend. And I know that he misses me. But the good side to that story is that I'll be spending a lot of time with him really soon. We've worked that out. But as I said again, a parent should never deny, and in this particular case, but parents in general, a parent should never deny, a woman should never deny the father the ability to spend time with his child. In this case, my son, because you wanted to live the wild life and drink and go get high and party and hang out with friends that are doing those types of things, and even relatives. And the child is, in some sense, held ransom. And that is what occurred in my situation. No fault of my own. And I believe, honestly, that she felt guilt. If peradventure she saw this video, I don't know if she watches my material or not, but if she saw this video, this is just me being perfectly honest to you, she deserves the guilt. That was it. And that was all. I encourage all of you to love one another. Not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient, but because it's right. This is Brother Teacher. Yahweh loves you. And you know I love you as well. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.